The first thing we want to talk about is how do you actually get more from the website and more from your online marketing? So again, my name is Kayvon Mott with DocSites. I'm a co-founder of DocSites. Everything I'm sharing with you is based on me and my hands-on experience with hundreds of dental practices. So lots of successes, some not so great, some very great successes, but everything that I'm sharing with you is based on what we've seen work, okay? So this is a really important message, probably the most important message that I'm gonna share on today's presentation. And that is this. There's a very big mistake that dentists make when it comes to their practice marketing, when it comes to their online presence, when it comes to really getting the most from what they're spending or what they're doing. This is the single biggest, costliest mistake that you want to avoid. And that is having this set it and forget it mentality, right? You can't treat your website or your marketing like insurance that you pay once and you never look back, right? Because if you do, you're at a loss. You don't know if work's being done, you don't know if it's actually working, you don't know if it's productive, and you're losing money, right? But a lot of practice owners do that. They get comfortable, they spend a couple $100 or $1,000 or a couple thousand or anywhere in between, and they never take the time to look at it again, right? When we used to go to shows and trade shows a lot, that was the biggest mistake that I seen dentists make, and it was costing them productivity, time, and money. So, like for example, are you following COVID protocols in your practice, right? I would imagine if we were in a room and I asked that question, 100% of you would raise your hands. However, when I go to your website, only maybe 20% or 25% of you are showcasing that you follow COVID-19 protocols. That's not good enough, because if a patient, a current or new patient, is considering coming in and they don't feel safe to come in, that's a loss, right? You're losing revenue, you're losing a patient right there. But again, most dental practices are juggling so many things that they never take a step back and say, what am I doing with my website? What am I doing with my marketing? So you miss things like this, right? Think of it yourself. How many of you hired someone to do your website or your marketing because you exchange, services? You gave them veneers and they do websites, but they have no idea about how dental marketing works, right? Do you even know what you're paying for? It's not uncommon that I would get a call, or we get a call, and they say, I'm paying this much money, $600, $700. Well, what are you getting? I don't know. Do you have a blog? No. Do you do anything for SEO? I don't know. So you just don't want to be be in that market, and just really consider and take a step and ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I getting for it? Once you're in that mindset, it's really about like 3 steps to getting the most from your website and online marketing. These are the ones that we're going to go over. You're going to show up. You got a second, showcase how you're different. And third, be seen consistently, or do marketing. However, before we go to that, I want to give you some extra tips, some tips to increase your first appointment conversions. Why is this important? Well, this is really super important, because imagine you're spending all this time and all this money on marketing, but you can't convert that first appointment. That is like the easiest way you can increase your production and save money at the same time. So we're going to go over a few tips. First tip you can do that we've seen work with a lot of dental practice websites is adding a new patients tab to your website. When you add that, guess where the eye of the patient actually goes? It goes to the new patients tab, and that's where you can put things like special offers, the types of insurances you take, maybe highlight some of your reviews there if you're allowed to do that, maybe a video, right? So by adding that, you're going to increase the likelihood that new patients go there, and you can communicate with them things that you want to make them come in. Second, make sure you have some phone follow-up system, right? If you don't have someone at your front desk who's following up with these leads from your website or your email, right? Or someone says they're going to make an appointment, they don't, that is low-hanging fruit. So make sure you've assigned someone, a system, a process to have a phone follow-up system. And then third, what you can do is add some kind of feature where patients can book an appointment directly from your website. So it makes it a little like one step faster where they can book an appointment and be secured to come in and see you. So step one of really making the most from your online presence is this. It means having a great website. Let me ask you this. What's the one thing in business that you have, and this applies to everyone, really in the world, you only have one chance at and you don't get a second chance at? That's your first impression, right? So what is your first impression when people Google you online? Does my website represent me properly or not? Right? This really matters because, again, it's your first impression. So we take a look at these examples and take a look at the website on the left and the website on the right, right? Both of these websites have no direct correlation on how great the service of the practice is, how great the clinical work is, how good, and friendly and clean is the actual place. However, in the eyes of patients, especially in 2021, when everyone's going online, they're going to judge you in an instant, right? They're going to make a snap decision. So what do you think of when you see the website on the left versus the one on the right? When I ask this question, people say the one on the left. It looks family friendly, like clean, modern, nice, technology. What about the one on the right? People say, oh, that looks broken, dingy. People have even said, I feel like I would get cracked tooth work, right, if I go there. So again, this is really showing that your first impression really matters. The truth is, you need to have something that's going to pull in patients to your practice and not someone else's. So the first place people are going to search, right, when they're going online is Google. Are you making the most of your Google My Business profile? Here's an example of someone who isn't, right? Many of you dentists out there who are now in private practice, who used to work at a big DSO or a Western Dental or something, when you Google your name, this profile is incomplete. It's going to like an old website. It might even have negative reviews that you're not familiar with. You want to make sure that you're claiming this Google My Business profile and updating it. And now you can also see it actually pulls in positive reviews of COVID updates right there in the profile, right? So make sure, step one, you actually show up. You do have a website. You're on these important profiles like Google. Step two, showcase how your practice is different than anyone else's. And look, this is not any more, money per se. You might have a website. You might need to do a new website, but these are investments that you're making to get more from your website, more from your marketing. So here's some ways where you can stand out. The first way is to highlight your positive reviews on your website. One of the biggest mistakes I see dentists make is they've earned all these amazing reviews, 150, 250, 300 five-star reviews on Google. Then when you go to the website, do you know how many you see? 0. That's credibility. It's not easy to get those positive reviews, so be sure to highlight them. We here at DocSites are one of the few companies where when we build websites on our premier sites, we actually embed the positive Google reviews for people to see that you can see in that slide. Number two, add personalized photos. This is the best way to make people feel comfortable, right? To come in. And again, it's simple as snapping a photo with your iPhone and adding it to the website, but it does so much, right? And it builds so much credibility and personalization. Number three, add your biography and photo. The most important page on a website, other than the homepage, is the doctor's page. People want to know who they're coming to, right? So make sure that you have your accreditations, a nice photo, a great bio. Number four, add an office tour or smile gallery. A lot of dentists who are coming out of dental school, right, these young dentists are snatching up cases from dentists who do better work. How? Why? It's for this reason. They're using photos, right, to showcase their work, and other people scroll, they go on their website, they see social media, and they say, wow, they did a great job. I want to, come to them. Some of you have amazing offices. They look great. They look clean. But again, you're not highlighting that, right? So when you don't do these things, you become just another cookie cutter kind of dentist in the eyes of patients. And then number 5, showcase your COVID-19 protocol updates, right? So if you have a way, if you have a method, if you're using different, suction, technology, right, to make people feel safe and actually clean the environment, highlight those and make sure you do, because a lot of dentists are not doing that. So here are a couple examples of sites that we've created. You can all see they're very visual in nature, right? It paints a first picture, and that's what you want to do. Here's something you want to avoid. Do not use imagery or words for dentists. Use imagery and words for patients. So what do we mean by that? Patients don't know what cone beam technology is. A lot of patients actually don't even know what laser dent is. So you've got to break it down and use it in terms people understand. Like, here's an example of us working for a pediatric practice, and we put on there for laser dentist, virtual pain-free dentistry, Solea laser, right? Faster treatment, great for kids, benefits, benefits, benefits in words that people understand. Do not use bloody photos, right? Patients don't want to see that. You as a dentist might see that and say, that's a great placement, or that's a bad placement. Patient sees that and says, ew, clicks back, right? So make sure that you're using photos that show the end result, that show people happy, smiling, before and afters. Those are the kinds of words and images you want to use. So here we are. We've shown up, right? You have a great website. Your profiles are there. They're updated. You've showcased how you're different, because this is really important on your website about some of these elements we've discussed. Now it's really about being seen consistently, right? If you can get this third part right, this is how you're going to get the most of your marketing dollars, and the most really from your online, marketing and just your online presence in general. So let's talk about it. When we're talking about marketing, we're essentially talking about building trust, right? That's it. If you think about it, no business is ever exchanged without any trust being there. Whether you buy a car, whether you go to a service, whatever it may be, right? If there's no trust, nothing gets done. So like, if you think of it like a car mechanic, and I use this just as an analogy, when I go to Sacco, who's my car mechanic, I have no idea what's going on underneath the car of my hood. If he says I need a new transmission, all I know is I trust Sacco and I will pay for a new transmission. Dentistry is similar in the sense that people don't know what's going on in their mouth, right? So the more they trust you, the more likely that something will happen, production will happen, right? Treatment cases will get accepted. So trust is really built with consistency. There's a reason why Coca-Cola serves you so many ads. There's a reason why you've seen Nike ads, and all these commercials and Super Bowls, and all these companies advertise. Why? Because it builds consistency, right? And it builds trust. So that's what we're looking to do. Where is the best use of your digital marketing dollars? Is it Facebook? Is it SEO? Is it Yelp? Where is it? It's actually targeting your existing patients. And what's great, and Taylor's going to speak about this a little bit later, is you can communicate to your patients to get them back in the chair, because those are the ones who trust you. Those are the ones who thought about the treatment cases. Those are the ones who bring their friends and family to you already. This is low-hanging fruit. So the first place you want to start when it comes to your marketing is see how you can get your existing patients to come back in. You'll see a bump or an uptick in your production from that, right? Here's another way. You can actually send like a video. This is an example of one of our clients, the same pediatric practice, talking about how you're updating your COVID safety and health protocols, right? What you guys are doing. And again, I know we're coming out of the clear, but you got to realize a lot of people, especially people who are, in their 50s and above, are scared. So they want to hear and they want to see that you're taking precautions. So make sure that you use your marketing, your communication as a way to communicate that, what you're doing to keep patients safe. If you haven't already done so and you're thinking about spending money in your marketing, the best place that I've seen, over 12 years of working with dentists to spend money is search engine optimization, or SEO. What is SEO? Essentially, it's about getting found on Google for your treatments or your services, right? The fact of the matter is, the first place anyone's ever going to go when they're looking for a dentist is they're going to ask their friends or they're going to ask their family, and that hasn't changed. The second place that someone will go is most likely Google. They're going to put, family dentist near me, or implant specialist, or Invisalign, right? So SEO is really about doing work and having a service on your website. It's an ongoing process to make sure that your website is being found when patients are going on Google searching for your services, not your competitors. One of the opportunities that we've seen come up, and I'm sharing with you today on this webinar, is actually focusing on emergency dentistry and doing SEO for emergency dentistry. If you think about it, a lot of practices were not open during this pandemic. A lot of them are still not. So it caused a lot of emergency cases, to grow, and there was an uptick of them. So people were looking more for like emergency root canals or teeth extractions, right? This is an example of a client. They're in Chicago, a city called Beverly, Chicago. Now they have a website, a separate website for their main practice, but we created a microsite just focused on emergency dentistry. And when you Google it, this is the first thing that comes up. And they're getting calls and emails just focused on emergency dentistry. So if you do emergency dentistry, this could be a great opportunity and time for you to leverage and do some SEO marketing focused on that in your area, and it could prove very worthwhile. Again, if you're paying for SEO or considering it, you can always feel free to reach out to us here at DocSites. We can do an analysis of what you have going on and give you feedback of where your missed opportunities are when it comes to SEO. So I won't do a deep dive on SEO, but in order for it to be successful, you should probably know two things. One, SEO setup needs to be done on the website, meaning keywords in your services in your areas need to be on the website. Second, it needs monthly ongoing content and articles focused on what patients are searching for. Okay, that's really important. A lot of you out there, and I've seen your websites, you're paying a company to do your SEO. They're blogging for you. But then when we look at the blogs, it's something like how swimming affects your oral health. That's great. That sounds nice, but I guarantee you there's no mom, there's no dad who's looking for a dentist who's ever going to search swimming and oral health. They're searching for things like family dentist near me. Am I a good candidate for implants? Invisalign for adults, all these things. These are the things that we blog about here at DocSites and what you want to make sure your SEO blogging is focused on. So targeted ads are another way that you can actually get more from your marketing, right? Google AdWords or pay-per-click is a way where you can pay a specific budget to Google and be found on top of Google for these keywords like emergency dentist, right? These tend to be, so in terms of ranking of what we've seen for quality, it goes SEO and then Google ads and then Facebook ads. And I'll tell you the reason in just a minute. But with Facebook, right, no one is going to look for your service. They're just scanning their social media and they happen to get hit with an ad. And they're like, okay, sounds like a good offer. I'll come see you. But with Facebook, there's a lot more of chasing the leads, making sure they come in, and a lot more flaking. With Google ads, on the other hand, they're actually searching for a provider or treatment, and we're serving them those ads when they're searching. So the intent is higher, and therefore the quality of these leads are higher. Now, Google is a little bit more expensive than Facebook, but these are some of the pros and cons. And again, we provide SEO, Google ads, and Facebook, so you can feel free to reach out to me, and happy to share, what I see with your practice specifically after this. You want to create a Facebook business page if you haven't already done so, and make sure you're keeping it updated, right? Here's an example of a Facebook page we do for one of our clients. What do we have on there? We showcase before and afters. Again, it builds credibility. We showcase reviews. It builds social proof, right? Other people like this dentist. Other people like him. Like this, that's great. That looks like a real photo to me, right? And educational articles. Again, no one is really going to your Facebook to book an appointment. However, they might get referred to you. They might see you on a Yelp or a Google. They might find you somewhere and then they go to check your Facebook just to kind of see what does it look like, right? And then we talked about Facebook ads. Great thing is with Facebook ads, you can be very specific and targeted, right? And it has its benefits. But for it to do well, you want to make sure that you have a very good offer and just know that you're going to have to chase a lot of these people in. You know, you might have get 40 leads and maybe 3 of them actually book an appointment, right? It's going to take a lot and it's not as easy as many people think. And if you don't believe me, just talk to a lot of dentists, right? You'll see that. So in conclusion, in order to get the most from your website, to get the most from your marketing, you want to show up, right? Have a website, have your profiles. Number 2, showcase your practice and personalize it. And then number 3, make sure you're being seen consistently with these marketing tactics. Now, if you'd like this presentation emailed to you, you can go ahead and text me at this number and I will send it to you. It's my personal number. That's 818-489-9823. Just put your email and phone number or take a screenshot of this. It's 818-489-9823.